Hello everyone, welcome, thanks for joining us. We are now going to demo Boma to you and show you how you can send multi-channel campaigns. So in a nutshell, let's talk about what Boma is. You may have a little bit of an introduction to it already, but Boma basically allows you to send campaigns across your channels. So that includes email and Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and Instagram. You basically choose the channels and Boma sends it out and makes sure it's formatted for the channels you choose. So it makes it super easy, takes a lot of complexity and time out of digital marketing. Boma also gives you, if you're an accountant or bookkeeper, and I think most of you on this call are, but even if you're not, you've still got that fantastic multi-channel functionality. But for accountants and bookkeepers, we also have content, and everyone that gets to use Boma gets access to over 600,000 free images. So there's all the functions that you need to make it super easy. And if you haven't done any digital marketing before, you'll find that this is an easy way to get started. So I think first things first, let's start with how you'd set up your campaign. In fact, what I haven't done is introduce myself. I'm Liz Studham, and this is Charles Clark.
Hi everyone.
From Boma. And so yeah, let's look at account setup.
Brilliant. Okay, well it was great to see you all on here. I think we would have met a lot of you recently in the last week or two at Accountech or one of the Xero Roadshows, so welcome. Or obviously if you've just found us online as well, welcome to you. So the first thing to do when setting up your Boma account, you land on the dashboard, which is where we are now, and you can see here on the right hand side we've got a few tasks to complete your account setup, and this will only take you a couple of minutes. But will really give you a really powerful experience with Boma, so we recommend doing it as soon as you can. So the first one is to connect your social accounts. So this is your Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter, and it's super easy. You can see those 4 channels, and all you need to do is click on the button. At the moment it says disconnect because we're already connected, but it will say connect, and you just click it once on connect, and as long as you are logged into that particular social media channel on your laptop, then it will do all the connection for you. It'll take a few seconds and it will come out, and then basically it'll tell you that you're connected.
And I'd just add to that, if you have got a number of Facebook accounts, Boma will pull them all and you just choose from the drop-down menu which account you'd like to connect to.
Exactly, and I think just one thing more to add on that one is that Facebook, it's your business account, so it's not your personal account, but slightly sort of on that topic, LinkedIn, it connects both your business account and your personal page, so you can post from your own LinkedIn personal account.
Linked accounts?
Yeah, great. So if you're a Xero HQ user, you can connect up to Xero HQ. What that does is that it automatically syncs your contacts into Boma, and also it connects you up with the Xero content library. If you're not a Xero HQ user but you're still a Xero user, that's absolutely fine. You can import your contacts via a CSV, and we'll tell you how to do that in a second. But also you can still get access to the Xero content library, and we'll just confirm that you are a Xero partner, and we'll turn that library on for you automatically. Great, so once you've connected your social accounts, let's get some contacts in there. So as I said, whether you're XPM user, then you can just download all your contacts from there and upload them as a CSV, or if you're coming from another mail service like MailChimp, you can download a CSV file and then upload them in here, and it's just drag and drop. And you can import all their contact details, and you can also tag them. And what I mean by tagging is that you could say, okay, well, I'm going to import a portion of my list, and I'm going to say that these are my clients. Whereas another portion of your list, you may tag them as prospects. And the great thing about tagging them in Boma is that then when you go to send them an email, and you can see down here, we've got the tags, and you can tag them however makes sense to you. It might be the verticals that you serve. So here we've got people who are Xero active, pharmacy, agriculture, people who have signed up to some events that we've run, the breakfast seminar and free advisory. But the idea here is that you can tag them and segment them, and so when you're sending out emails, you can be really specific about who you want to target and send them the right information.
And I think that the really useful thing there is that you create those tags. They're up to you, what's meaningful to you. You don't need to choose from a number of names that we've created because you know your clients best. So it might just be small business, or as Charlie says, it could be done a vertical such as pharmacy. And therefore that group of clients will be interested in different content, perhaps different email content than others. So your contact list is really for your email marketing, but you will see also how they engage with that marketing, and we can show you that in a bit. So last step in your setup is your brand logo.
Exactly. So the great thing with the Boma system is that we import your logo for you. Just click on the Upload My Logo button, and then we actually bring in all the colors of your brand logo. So you can see here our brand logo for this account is blue and yellow. So we've pulled in blue and yellow, and then all the sort of complementary colors that may go with it. So you can just click on those colors and you'll actually see the background changing. It's the same thing for your call to action button. So we've chosen yellow for this one, but you could equally choose any of the complementary colors or use your own one, as Liz is just doing now. Yeah.
And if you do know the hex codes, it's obviously set up so that you don't need all of that design expertise, but if you do, just type that into the box there and we'll pull that color through.
Great. Now the next stage is just to enter in your postal address, your country of region, and your time zone. So three really small things to do, but they're quite important. So the postal address is so that by law, all emails need to have a company's address, and we're all about permission-based marketing, so we ask you to enter in your postal address. Your country or region, that's to make sure that the content in the content libraries is specific to your country. We've got a lot of content in there, and some of it is global, so it applies to every country, but others is very specific. So it's specific, say, to Australia or New Zealand or the UK. So we're talking about GST versus VAT. So definitely recommend you making sure that you choose your own country. And then the last one is the time zone. So when you're scheduling campaigns, whether it's email or social posts, you just want to make sure that it's going out in your time zones so that it's sort of an email doesn't inadvertently go out at 2 a.m. in the morning. Next is to enter in your details, so who you want any emails to go from. So we've chosen Catherine from Huge Accounting, but it could just be Catherine, or it could be Catherine Spencer. It just depends. Whatever from name that you want, you can put in there, and the same with a from address. You can also change these on individual campaigns, but this would be the default. The last thing to do is to add any social accounts that you do. And this will basically, by adding your social accounts in here, at the bottom of your emails, there'll be little logos that appear. So when someone clicks on, say, your Facebook logo in an email, it'll be taken to your Facebook page, and so on with Twitter and any other ones that you have. Also add your email address in there, because we do have a web logo on your email. And it's just a matter of typing in the web address. And for your social posts, you can go through to your social page and you just take the last bit of the address. So here we have twitter.com/ and then it's Huge Accounting. So that's pretty easy for you to find once you know what to look for.
Right, so now that you're set up, and that's all relatively straightforward, you can send your first campaign. So in order to do that, click on the Create button is one of the options, but there are lots of ways that you can do that. So if I click on the Create button, you can see what Boma allows you to do. So you can send an email newsletter, social media update to the accounts that you have linked. You can share to all free channels, so that's email and social, and obviously you're not necessarily putting budget behind it at this stage, so it's seen by the fans and followers of those pages. If you want to reach a wider audience, you can create a social media ad, and we'll show you how to do that as well. And you can create a landing page, and we'll also look at these. Landing pages are a great way to add new contacts to your email newsletter, for example, or you might be getting registrations for an event. It could be a promotion that you want people to sign up for, or it might be that you're wanting to offer a guide that you've written on tax, and you want people to put their email address in order for them to download that guide, and we'll show you how that works, and that's a great way to generate leads. For this demo, I want to use the content library so that I can show you how that works. So you can see the latest content is here. And if we go into the content library, you can see new content. And this library we're adding to all the time. And in fact, we're really putting a very strong focus on this right now. It is the thing that accountants and bookkeepers have told us is one of the things that matters most to them in Boma. And that is because I think there's increased pressure on accountants and bookkeepers to start sharing advisory advice and going beyond the numbers. So that's why the accounting and bookkeeping content library was created. So yeah, that's a real focus for it at the moment, and you will see a whole lot more content coming through. So if I'm just slowly scrolling down in the content library, and let's have a look. Say, for example, we're going to choose a piece. Let's choose this, click on it, and then you can see what that content would look like as a social post and as an email. And all of this content here is able to be customized. So as you go through the campaign flow, you can customize it. I'll just stop for a minute there and see if there are any questions so far, Charlie. Have we got anything?
Yeah, so one person just asked how many new, how often, how many new articles come in every week. So it's 4 a week at this stage. So, and that's on everything from growth plans, tax updates. We've got things on finance, legal, HR, and then a lot on performance, leadership, work-life balance. So every week you'll be able to go in there and see the latest items. I would suggest on a Tuesday or Wednesday. That's usually the date that they go in, and you'll see them, and they'll come up at the very top of your content library.
So it has been a real focus for us, and so the content library has been created in partnership with Xero, so it is really good quality content. And as I say, you can customize it. We have got new content coming in, and there'll be stay tuned. We'll let you know about new content feeds coming in. So sorry.
I was just going to say, and just what some of the questions we've had in the past just around that content is, Xero has created quite a lot of content, but rest assured that it's not all Xero-fied. It doesn't all go back to Xero. Sometimes it doesn't even talk about Xero. It's just about advice that you can give to your clients. And I suppose something that's new a bit more recently is that we've actually started to add content in ourselves. So where we can add value, whether it's talking about marketing related advice in the same format, but we're also branching out into the more accounting advice. And this is written, we've got a whole range of accounting writers and advisors who we tap to create that content for us. So when you join up, obviously look out for the HQ library, but also do keep an eye out for the Boma library, because that's an extra library that you'll get as well.
And the key is it's a kickstart for your campaign. So we've given you the bones, and you can send it as it is. In fact, you can see in the social post we've even suggested some hashtags here. But we do recommend that you make it your own, and with all digital marketing, bring your personality through. And if you've got an advisory niche, then bring that expertise through on your social posts and through your email. And that's all about building that thought leadership and gaining a reputation, not only amongst clients and prospects, but also in terms of the search bots and what they're looking at and what they see you posting and writing online. So if we deliver this piece of content, the content that we've chosen, I've decided for this demo to send to all my channels. So I'll click there. The first box here shows the title, but you can change that. That's not seen by the recipients of this email, but you can change it to something meaningful. We're going to leave that as it is. And then this very first step confirms this is the image and here's the text. Now you can edit these as we go into the channels, but just to show you, if I click on that image here, Boma gives you access to 600,000 free images. You can also upload and choose from previously uploaded images. But if you search images, simply type in a search term, click on the search, and choose from thousands and thousands of free images, which you can use wherever you like. So,
and I think the key with these images is to, the great thing about social media and use of imagery is that you don't need to be too literal. So if you're sort of, if you're talking about a tree, well, it might be that your message is about growth. Or maybe if you had a picture of someone surfing, then maybe that's about freedom, because your advisory services give them back their time, and what do they want to do with their time? They want to spend it doing their hobbies. So I think there's, as Liz said, 600,000 free images, and you can be really, really broad in how you apply things. It doesn't always have to be sort of an image of a person in a suit if you're trying to target a small business, or sort of a tradie with a hammer if you're targeting construction workers. So think about the sort of their need state, or what you want to say with your message, and that, I think, will really help give you some insights and some direction with what sort of images you choose.
And that will also give you a really interesting feed on your Facebook page, because it is difficult to, when you start sharing advisory, not to end up with someone in an office every time in terms of your images. I know that we really try hard to make sure that they do. We choose images that are a little bit outside the square, outside the box, and we know images are really engaging. So do choose something that you know will capture our attention. So here we've now, as we chose all our channels, by default, Boma has selected them all, and we can disable the channels if we like at this point. But if we go into each channel, so we're currently in LinkedIn, you can see Boma has suggested a social comment for your LinkedIn post. You could change that if you like, so growing your business, you could just change the wording of it. Here's a great guide.
And the nice thing is that you may want to keep the messages the same across all your channels, or equally you might want to tweak them for each channel. And the purpose of being able to do that is that, how you maybe communicate and your followers on LinkedIn might be different to Twitter, and might be different again to Facebook. So, we encourage you to, think about what would resonate most on those channels. And it might be a case of the first few times you try, you just use what we've suggested and just make a few changes. But as you grow in confidence, you can really start to take what we've given you and sort of build out. And as Liz said, find your voice, let your expertise come through in these posts. Yeah,
I think your LinkedIn might say one thing, but your personal LinkedIn might say something else, like Huge Accounting has a great guide on business growth, talk to us about, etc. So you noticed that I was just, while Charlie was talking, I was doing a couple of those hashtags. If you're not familiar with hashtags, really they are a little sort of summary of the content. They are like a miniature kind of search engine, because you can actually search for content under hashtags. So if you go into Twitter, you can see what's trending under hashtags, and if you search on a hashtag, you can see all content relating to it. So it gives your content a slightly wider reach. You can start creating a hashtag for your own business. And maybe there are aspects within your business that you want to start categorizing your content. So have a go. The only rules really are, in fact, we've got a good guide on our website, but really the only rules are no punctuation. However, you can put capital letters inside if that makes it slightly easier to read. On Twitter, you'll see that there is a counter down the bottom, and as I type, the counter counts down, so it makes sure that you have exactly the right number of characters for Twitter. Facebook is a little bit different. Facebook, in order to combat fake news, won't allow a third party to write a post comment on your behalf. The workaround, and this is what I do, is go into LinkedIn or another channel and copy and paste. But of course, you can start from scratch, even if you started paste that and then go, okay, now I'm going to re-edit. Sometimes it helps to have some text in there to then edit and cut and paste and work out what you want to say there. And obviously Facebook is a little bit more relaxed than LinkedIn. So in terms of your post, you might want to take that into account when you're writing your post. If we look at email now, there's a number of things you can change here. So subject line is written for you and the preview description is written, and this is the first thing your recipient will see in their inbox. So make it compelling. A question is quite a nice way to start your email and might be more motivating for them to open it. If we look at our audience, we can select, as we discussed with tags, we can say, right, well, we only want to send these to our pharmacy contacts, or we want to deliver to all contacts. And then select the template. So Boma gives you access to a whole lot of beautifully designed templates. The previous emails is a great way to have access to an email that you may have spent a lot of time on. It might be a previous newsletter. You really did make sure that looked exactly how you wanted, so you'll be able to choose that and make a copy and use that again. The theme templates are not for the content library. They are for when you're starting from scratch. They're a bit more sophisticated and they've got beautiful spaces for images and text, and obviously suit a newsletter really well. Instant and previous are for the content library, and I always tend to choose Big Content Basic. If you choose that, you'll see that the content's brought through and our logo will come up into this template as well that we put in at the beginning in our setup. And then you can make as many or as little changes as you like. So there is our email. On the right hand side you can see the social icons there and the address. An unsubscribe button, which is obviously really important. So if people aren't interested in your content, they can unsubscribe and you won't be able to email them again. It won't delete the contact from your contact list though, so you will get visibility on that.
I think also just on that point, this is really all about complying with spam regulations. So you have to be able to allow people to unsubscribe. As Liz said, they won't be deleted from Boma, which means that, say, a couple of weeks later or a month later, they see a social post or a landing page which has some really interesting content from you, and if they choose to resubscribe, then they will be basically switched from unsubscribed to subscribed in Boma, and then you can start emailing them again. But really, it's about giving them permission to manage how they are communicated to by you. So it's just a really important point.
So on the right hand side, you'll see the email editing tools. The settings relate to the whole email, so it's fonts and colors. I don't tend to change this. You can. The emails are optimized for mobile, so you don't need to do anything there. Under rows, this is about the whole architecture of your emails. So a big block like this might be for a new text block, or a block like this might show you an image on one side and text on the other. So if you're going to put more content at the bottom of this email. And then once you've brought that in, I'll show you how this works in a minute. We'll bring in something for the bottom. You bring in the content for those architectural rows. You can also just click into the text that's already there. So for example, if I want to send this and address people directly, I'm going to add a personal greeting with a space. Look at the merge tags and select first name with a comma and a space, and that will pull the name out of my contact list so that each person gets addressed personally. Within the email, you can do as much or as little editing as you like. You might say, well, I don't actually agree with that bullet, or I'm going to reword that bullet. You can take that out. And then we're going to look at adding a button because we want people to contact us. So I'm going to bring in the row. Then you'll see that the row says no content here. Drag new from the content panel. Bring in the content. Oopsie, I'm not going to add text. I'm going to add, sorry, I just fiddle with that. Delete that bit and bring in a button.
And that's the thing, if you do drag something in that you don't want in there, it's as easy as that to delete. So you can able to build and change these emails really flexible. And when you first try things out, if you do, you do drag something that you didn't want to, there's always a delete button and you can just start again.
So for that button, obviously you don't want it to say button, but just simply select, highlight, and choose the words to type in that you want to use on that button. So I've chosen contact us, and on the right hand side you'll see the action that you want it to take. So The open a web page could be, for example, open the contact us page on your website. It could be that you've got a calendar booking app that you want it to book a time. It could be that you want them to send you an email. So if you open up send an email, you're going to say email to Catherine at Huge Accounting, etc. The email subject, which is growth plans, and the body content, which might be I'm interested in making a time. Sorry about my typing. And then it might just be one sentence, and then the recipient will add to that email in order to send an email back to you. But that will open a new email in their email browser to send something back to you. So when you're happy with the changes that you've made in email, are there any questions, Charlie, at this point? Or?
Yeah, well, I'll just give a quick update. So it seems that most people on here we've met at the Xero Roadshow in Accountic. No surprise, that's where we were last week in Wellington, Auckland and Melbourne. One quick question came in, and it was talking about, excuse me, it was talking about the ability to automatically email people who came into Xero. So at present, the Xero link means that it's not possible to have a new contact added and then automatically send them an email. The workaround for that is that when they do come in, you can have an email set up in your email template, and you can tag the person as new or however you choose to do it, and then that will send them, so you can send it like that. So this sort of automation is something that we're working on, both internally but also with Xero, to allow that sort of information to be synced across their API. So yeah, at the moment, Ken, it's a little bit fiddly, but you can do it, but we are working on an automation.
And that's the thing, we have got, some of you may have met us at XeroCon last year. In fact, some of the people that we met at XeroCon last year were really impressed with the amount of features that in Boma, but we're adding features all the time. So we will keep you updated as we add features. There's loads more on the roadmap to make it even easier for you to market your firm. One thing I didn't show you in here was images, changing the images, but again, this comes down to the image library. So I've clicked on the image, I can click change image. I can also add special features like frames and borders and treatments to those images, and you can either upload or import an image, and then you can also search images here. So we're talking about growth. I'm going to choose the tree image. It might be a little cliche, but it might look a little more, I don't know, perhaps a plant. And obviously, you know, you can take as long as you like on that to go through pages and pages and pages of images here. Choose an image and back into your email. So that takes a wee while to load, but we've got the image there. Insert the image. That looks a bit better and looks quite nice under my tagline there. So save and close. And then final step is to basically preview your content across the channels you've chosen. So there it is as a LinkedIn post. Under LinkedIn Personal, we didn't really make many changes in this demo, but obviously you will. And as a Facebook post. And then finally, when we go back into email, I just want to show you, if I click into email, taking me a while to open, there, send a test email. So you can send an email to yourself or someone in the office just to check that you're happy with the way it looks and pick up any spelling mistakes, for example. And then the final step is to schedule. So you can choose to send that immediately, or you can send it for a specific time. As we talked about at the very beginning, your local time zone is the default. You can actually change that. I don't think you probably will, but that option is there for you. And then you can choose, right, well, it's got really late in the day. Let's send that tomorrow for sort of a 10:15 when someone's sort of got over their early morning emails and maybe making themselves a cup of coffee. That's a good time to send it. And we have had questions in the past about when the best time to send campaigns out at, and it does vary. Obviously, Twitter is your campaign life is a little bit shorter, so frequency is kind of the thing there. With emails, your email open rates tend to be quite high on a Monday, but engagement rates are quite high later in the week when people have got a bit more time. So it does, there is a lot of conflicting research, but it does often come down to intuition. And if I click schedule campaign, you can also see that once you've sent your campaigns out, you can check yourself as to how those campaigns were engaged with. So if I choose a piece of content that we've sent out before, you'll be able to see, now because this is a demo account, unfortunately the numbers are not there, but you'll be able to see across your channels the impressions, comments, likes, shares, comments, etc., and retweets. And then in your email, you can also see your engagement. Now, once you've opened the email engagement, by clicking on the buttons in there, you'll also see who of the people that clicked on it did engage or clicked on a link or opened it, so that you can really understand what emails are working for who, what sort of content that you might like to send in future to the same people, or what you might want to change for others. So that is sending an email through the content library. I think it would be really useful here to just quickly show you another way to send a campaign. So obviously you can create your campaigns from scratch. And it may be that you're starting to write a blog, or that you've seen some really interesting information online. It could be an update from the Inland Revenue, or it could just be a business article that you think would be of use to people that you, to your clients. We're going to send this as a social media update, and I'm going to say, well, actually I'll leave it here, but you can change that. And then in that first step, Boma asks you what it is you'd like to share. Now, you don't have to put it all in here, but you can start with your one image that you might want to share across social, or your one text message, and then that will be brought across all the channels, and then you can customize. But the thing I wanted to show you was the website URL sharer. This makes it really easy to send your blog out on social, or also to share that content that you found online. So I'm going to click there, and you can see that there's now a field to paste a URL. I'm going to then go into Boma's blog. And by the way, this is a really useful place to find information about marketing your firm. We'll choose a piece of content here. Grow your business's network on social media. Click into that post. And there we go. And select the URL at the top. Back into Boma and paste the URL. And you'll see that Boma has created the beginnings of your campaign for you. So you've got the name, the hero image is scraped out, and the first paragraph of text. Now, it is a lot of text, so it's going to be too much for Twitter, and it's probably going to be too much for LinkedIn. You will need to edit that, but it means that you get an easy way to send your blog posts, or an easy way to send a campaign when you haven't written something this week, but you found a great article, and you can send that out on social simply by pasting that URL in and creating a campaign that way.
Just interrupt with a quick question. So someone's asked, is there a limit to the number of emails that we can send using Boma? And the answer to that is that we run a fair use policy. So for us, fair use is 10 emails per user per month. So if you have roughly 400 users on your database, then you could send 4,000 emails. So I think one extra thing to sort of mention about that is that if you were sending a user more than 10 emails a month, or even if you were sending somewhere near 10 emails a month, you'd be very close to spamming them. Not sort of legally speaking, but most companies would be very careful about how many times they emailed their clients, because one a week is maybe fine, but 2 or 3 a week, that's getting pretty frequent, and then it's hard obviously to make sure that all of those emails are relevant. So yeah, so the answer is 10 emails per contact per month.
Yeah, I think with email, we all know that if it's useful and relevant, we really value it. If it's not, and it then becomes frequent and not useful, then that's the quickest way to get unsubscribed starting in your contact list. So,
I think the nice thing about the way that we've created Boma is that you can do both email and social. And I suppose if I wanted to connect with people who are following me as well as in my email database a lot, if I had a lot of messages I wanted to get out in a month, I would do a lot via social. And the reason is that on social, it's not invasive. So I'm not clogging up your inbox with, 5 emails a week on something which I may or may not be interested in. If however, I'm posting 5 or 10 times a week, then as a follower of your business, I can engage with the ones that interest me and I don't have to engage with the ones that don't interest me. So it's really a nice way to get a lot of information out there. The ones which are relevant to me, I'll follow those and I'll be interested. But if they're not equally, I won't feel offended that you're all sort of forever in my inbox. So I would suggest, think about the way you can use social to share a lot of information and build those relationships. And then when you've gotten to that point and you have something, the relevant information that you want to say, then you can use the email to really, take that relationship maybe to a higher level.
And also with social, you get the opportunity to, if you've got something really engaging and useful, that people comment on it and like it and share it, and then you reach a wider audience. And I think the thing is that marketing isn't necessarily always about sales. It's about providing useful guides and nurturing your existing clients, and about building your brand presence for the things that you are known for, the specialties of your business.
Yeah, I think you're right. Sort of becoming known in an industry as the go-to business or firm for, say, if we're talking accountants, it's tax advisory or how to structure a startup or how to do something better than anyone else does. And as Liz says, if you can build up a following on Facebook and then you're posting great content, people will share and like that, and then that's how you build, I suppose, awareness of your expertise in a wider group than just your email database.
So something just to note as we are changing that, I'm not taking the URL which sits in the body content of your tweet. So make sure if it is a long form content that you do keep that URL there. Under Facebook, I'll paste it in, and then in fact we might just deliver that. So back in the dashboard, we've shown you how to create a campaign from the content library, how to create one from scratch. Let's look at the landing pages. So obviously, if you're wanting to start a newsletter, a landing page is a useful way to get people to sign up for that. And there are a number of other ways that you can use them as well. So you can create a new landing page. We'll call this, well, we've created a few in the past, but news and advice from create. And then Boma then asks you to change the text. So sign up for great business advice and tips. You can say, please enter your details, or let us know a little bit, you can change it however you like. Add a tag so that any new person that filled out that form is tagged, and then you can send them relevant advice. Create the tag, click OK, and then it's in there. And then choose the fields that you want. So obviously you need email, but you can have first name, last name, company name, perhaps phone number, and then importantly do tick your include terms and conditions, because that just means that you are able to email them again in future. So the exchange here is basically for a newsletter, and we're asking, put your details in here and we can send you our regular newsletter. But it might be that you do have, you write a short 3-page guide on tax, turn it into a PDF, host it on your site somewhere, maybe somewhere that people can't navigate, so it's not seen. And in your post-submit form, instead of just the message that says thank you, and again, you can customize that, you send them to a custom page, and that is that URL where they can download that guide that you've offered them in exchange for their email. This could also be make a time to meet with us and sends them to a calendar scheduling app like Calendly or something like that. So back in the beginning, at the front page, if we click that to published and click save, you can see that we've now got a URL here, and that URL is what you use. Say it's got a sign up for our newsletter button on your website. That would be the URL that you use in behind, so that they then are automatically added to your contact list. It might be a button that you add to all your social accounts. And if we look back at landing pages in general, so we've got a number of other examples here. You could be hosting an event, and you're going to publish that and advertise that on social media, and the button that says register here will click through to a landing page. And it could be a promotion. So, for example, here we've suggested register for 1 hour free advice for your construction business, and we will make a campaign to show you how you might do that. So let's look at that one, 1 hour free advisory. Oh, hold on, I think I've got one that's a little bit better written. There we go. 1 hour free advisory with your business. Make sure that there are no typos in it. Save that one. And we've got a URL here. I'm going to open another tab in Boma and show you how you could use that. So let's create a social media ad because we want to reach a wider audience. This is about growing the business. Click on Facebook. It could be both, depending where you want to send it. Choose a location. I'm going to choose our location where we are and keep it relatively specific so that my budget works a little harder. And these are business owners, so this might be someone who's a little bit older. So let's go into 33 to 61, a bit arbitrary there. But interests is where you can also really hone your target audience. So this is what Facebook sees people are looking at online. So it isn't what they've listed as their interests in Facebook. It is the things that they've engaged with. It could be anything from education, hobbies, places, events. So, for example, it might be small business. They've shown an interest in small business or entrepreneurship. It could be that they're interested in rugby. And if you start typing the term, you'll see a drop-down menu to choose a number of things. The best way to do this is to think about your current ideal clients, the ones that you want more of. Think about the sorts of things that they're interested in, and that will help you build your profile for the new prospects that you want. You can start it on the very same day, or you could schedule it for advance. It's worth putting about a week on it rather than a month, because then you can look at it a week later and say, how did it go? How many did I get clicking on it? Let's run it again, or let's tweak it, and then just put a little bit of budget in here. Click save, and then you get to define what content you want in there. So our landing page, which we skipped through rather, was come in for 1 hour's free advisory and we'll make the coffee. So I'm going to choose a coffee image for my post. Always best to choose a landscape image. Click save and continue.
And that's just because they work better on social media.
And then let's change the headline, which you can see I've done before. So it's auto format, auto filling. Free advice, and the coffee's on us. Book an hour for free with huge accounting.
So the key to these messages is to really think about what it is that you want them to do. So obviously you want them to sign up to this or just sort of contact you, and then think about how to make it engaging. So use engaging language. Don't be afraid to be direct and to the point. Obviously sometimes on social media a bit of humor never goes astray, and just something that when they read they'll think, okay, that looks really interesting. I'm intrigued or engaged or I'm amused, and I'm going to follow up. And in this case, it's the sign up that we're wanting them to do.
So we can also change that button, sign up. So let's change that to book now. We want them to book a time with us. And then in the website URL, I'm going to go back into the other tab that I had open. I've got the landing page here that says, you can see 1 hour free advisory with your business and we'll make the coffee. And I've also created a tag there, free coffee and advice promotion, so that they'll be tagged when they come in. Type that, paste that in URL in, and then that means that anyone that sees that ad and clicks on that link will immediately go to that landing page to enter their details and be added to your contact list. You'll then be able to filter and you'll have their details in order to contact them and make a time. Click Save and then Schedule. There's a last chance there to preview the targeting that you decided on, what your email looks like, or sorry, what your social post looks like, and deliver. So that's probably about it. There are loads of things you can do in Boma, you can see, and at any stage, if you're working in the platform and you're not sure what to do next, if you look at help, you can see FAQ, marketing resources, and video tutorials. And once you're in the platform, you will see a chat bot. So if you click on that, you can answer any questions. If your question is a frequently asked question, then maybe get delivered an answer back that somebody else has already asked. But you can also talk to someone directly. And you can also request a one-on-one demo. So if you'd like to do that, once you've sort of had a couple of goes at sending campaigns and you've got a few questions, feel free to use all of that support there to make sure that you're sending your campaigns and knowing, what you can do next.
Mm-hmm. Brilliant. So I think just to wrap up, we've been running a Christmas campaign on these webinars, and so I'm just going to give out a couple of codes to you. So these are basically will give you 3 months free subscription as long as you sign up before the end of December. So if you met us at Accountech, and I'll just put this through in the chat panel. So if you met us at Accountech, the coupon code is Accountech3M. And if you met us at a Xero Roadshow or any other events or online, then it's Boma Web 3M. And I'm just putting those out as well. So those are available to you. Once you've activated them, you'll get 3 months free. You will need to put your credit card in. That's just to make sure that if you do any Facebook advertising, you can be charged by Facebook. Obviously, we don't take anything from that. And if you choose not to continue after 3 months, you can cancel it and you won't be charged. Brilliant, I think that's about it. And as Liz said, you can contact us anytime. We've got live chat. Happy to jump on a demo to take you through this in more detail. If you have any issues with a particular element of Boma or have a marketing question, don't hesitate to send us a message.
Okay, thanks very much, everyone, and see you later. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.